Hi and welcome everyone to another video on this channel. Today we're gonna be talking about the best budget midfielders for your fantasy Premier League squad. So let's get into it. Okay, so I know that so many people are gonna try to wildcard in Game Week 8, and that's why I think that some budget players are gonna be pretty much needed in your team, because obviously everyone wanna go for the likes of Salah, Lukaku, Chelsea defenders, City defenders, maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it's gonna be pretty tough for you to fit all of those in your team, unless you have some cheap players like CONOR GALLAGHER from Crystal Palace. His price is 5.7 millions. I really like that price. I think that he's pretty good value for what he can do on the pitch. Okay, maybe he's not the best budget midfielders, but for sure I think that he's one of the best. And as you can see, the fixtures for Crystal Palace are not amazing in the next 3 games. Okay, Arsenal and City, it's not perfect, but Newcastle, Wolverhampton, Burnley and Villa in the next 6 games is pretty decent. And what I really like about him and Crystal Palace is that they are playing really good this season under Patrick Vieira. They are way more offensive than last seasons, and that's a really good thing for FPL. I really like him as a player. I watch him in the last gamings. He's really good with the ball. He's on set pieces if Milivojevic is not going to play, because unless if Milivojevic is going to start for Palace, probably he's going to be on set pieces, but still I really like him. He's going forward. He's getting chances, as you can see. 11 goal attempts in the box is really good for a midfielder. And as you can see, he scored 2 goals this season and he got 3 assists. It's pretty good. And his XG plus XA per 90, I have to say, it's pretty big. It's pretty high, 0.74. So yeah, I really like CONOR GALLAGHER. Okay, maybe he's not the best cheap midfielder in the game, but still I think that he's one of the best for sure. So I will watch him very closely. Next on the list, you have another cheap midfielder, BUKAYO SAKA from Arsenal. As you can see, his price is 6.3 millions. Okay, he's a little bit more expensive than GALLAGHER, but I think that he has a better potential than him, to be honest with you, to score goals, to assist, and obviously he plays for a much better team offensively and defensively, in my opinion, at least Arsenal, than Crystal Palace. So yeah, he scored just 1 goal and 2 assists this season, and his XG plus XA per 90 is pretty low, I have to say, 0.33, but please take into consideration that Saka missed the first game against Brentford. Arsenal lost 2-0, and he also, after that, they played against Chelsea and City, 2 pretty tough fixtures for them. So yeah, that's why his underlying numbers are not exceptional, but I think that the fixtures, as you can see, are going to be pretty good for them. Palace, Villa, Watford and Newcastle in the next 6 games is pretty nice. And yeah, he got 12 goal attempts, he got 10 chances, he created 10 chances, which is pretty good, considering that he played against pretty tough oppositions. So yeah, I really like Saka. Okay, I have to say that from Arsenal, Odegaard, Smith-Rowe and Saka, all of those 3 are pretty good options in my opinion at least, but I picked Saka just because I think that he's more nailed than other 2. Okay, he obviously is more expensive, so if you need that money, I think that Odegaard and Smith-Rowe are good options too, but if you have enough money to buy Saka, I would suggest you to pick him, because I think that he's maybe the best asset from Arsenal right now. Okay, so next up we have MBEUMO from Brentford. I talked about him in my last video. I really like him. I really like that price. It's really cheap, 5.5 million for what a player he is and what he can do on the pitch. What I like about him is that he's listed as a midfielder in FPL, but in real life he plays as a striker alongside Ivan Toney, so that's just amazing for FPL. That's what we are looking for in a midfielder. So yeah, also his ownership is pretty low too, 1.4%, which makes him a great differential if you want him in your team. Obviously, the only downside which I can see for him is that he plays against Chelsea in Game Week 8, so if you're not using your wildcard in Game Week 8, obviously I wouldn't suggest you to bring him in just now, because Chelsea and Leicester, the next 2 game weeks are not great for them, obviously. But after that, Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle, Everton in the next 6 game weeks is just brilliant. And personally, myself, I'm gonna look to bring in either MBEUMO or Ivan Toney from Brentford, because the fixtures are just too good to resist. So yeah, he scored 2 goals, he got 0 assists, but his XG plus XG per 90 is pretty decent, 0.5. So yeah, as you can see, he's getting chances, 17 goal attempts, 11 goal attempts in the box, and he created 8 chances in the first 7 gamings. So yeah, he's just a great player. I really like him, and the good part also is that Brentford are playing really good. They just beat West Ham, they played amazing against Liverpool, they beat Arsenal, so we know that Brentford are a really good team offensively and defensively right now. So yeah, we know that they can do it, and I really like to own some Brentford players from Game Week 10. So if you're using your wildcard, also I would suggest you to buy at least one of them, MBEUMO or even Tony, because the fixtures are just really good for Brentford, and they are playing really good at the moment. The next player on my list is TOWNSEND from Everton. As you can see, he was just amazing this season with 3 goals and 2 assists in the first 7 game weeks. I really like him, his price is pretty good, and I have to say that if you wanna have an Everton player right now, I think that from TOWNSEND, Gray and Doucouré, those three, I think that TOWNSEND is the best pick right now. Okay, short term I have to say, because we don't know for sure when Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison are gonna be back for Everton, and when that times come, I'm pretty sure that TOWNSEND, maybe his minutes are gonna be limited and he's not gonna be such a good option anymore, but short term I think that he's great, he's gonna be on penalties right now, and as you can see, the fixtures short term are pretty good: West Ham, Watford, Wolverhampton in the next 3 game weeks. So yeah, maybe if you're not using your wildcard and if you still have it, I think that if you can wildcard in game week 11 or maybe game week 12, I think that TOWNSEND could be a great punt for you for the next 3 game weeks, and then you can get rid of him. So yeah, but if you want to have him long term, I don't think that he's such a great option, but of course it's your decision. As you can see, he got 13 goal attempts, pretty decent. He created 13 chances in the first game week. So yeah, his XG plus XA per 90 is pretty decent, I have to say, 0.47. So yeah, his ownership is pretty low too. So he's still a good differential if you want him in your team. So yeah, Tottenham and City obviously are pretty tough fixtures for the long term, but if you really want him, I think that he's gonna be a great punt for the short term. Okay, so the next player on my list is RAPHINHA from Leeds. I'm pretty sure that you all know him. I talked about him so many times this season. I really like him. And still at that price, 6.6 millions, I really like it. And I think that he's one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the game right now at that price at least. And in my opinion at least. So as you can see, his ownership is pretty high, 20%, but that's for good reason, because if you can see, the fixtures are pretty good for them. Southampton, Wolverhampton, Norwich, even Leicester, Tottenham and Brighton, okay, are 3 pretty tricky fixtures for them, but still I think that offensively RAPHINHA could harm those teams, and I can easily see him getting something in those 3 games. So yeah, as you can see, he was pretty good this season, 3 goals, his XG plus XA per 90 is pretty decent, 0.41. But what I really like about him, just look at that, 24 goal attempts in the first 7 game weeks is just brilliant, and he created also 14 chances. So yeah, he should have got more points that he did, but still I'm pretty happy that he was in my team from game week 1. He's such an amazing player, and yeah, I think that, okay, there are other options at least right now, but maybe in my opinion at least they are not as good as RAPHINHA, like Rodrigo and Daniel James. Also Bamford is a good option, but he's out, we don't know for sure for how long. So yeah, in my opinion at least, RAPHINHA right now is the best option from Leeds. The thing with RAPHINHA is that he's now in the international break, he plays for Brazil, and the problem is that probably he's gonna miss the game week 8 against Southampton. But yeah, that's a big issue. But if you own him or if you're wildcarding in game week 8, still I would suggest you to bring him in, because after game week 8 he's still gonna be pretty good, and you can keep him till game week 15 because, or 16, because the fixtures are still good for Leeds for the long term. So yeah, he's a really good player. If you don't have him, don't buy him right now if you're not using your wildcard in game week 8, because probably he's gonna miss. But after that, I would suggest you to watch him very closely, because he's gonna be really good this season. The next player on my list is ADEMOLA LOOKMAN from Leicester. Okay, he's more like a differential and a punt. At that price, 6 millions, I'm pretty sure that there are much better options at a lower price, like Smith Rowe, GALLAGHER, MBEUMO, Odegaard. So yeah, but still I think that if you're really brave and if you want to go something different, or if you want to use your wildcard and bring him in your team, I think that he could be an interesting option. At that ownership, 0.1%, he's going to be an amazing differential if you want him in your team. Okay, he scored 0 goals, but you have to take into consideration that he played just 4 games and he didn't play all the 90 minutes, obviously, for Leicester, because he just came in the team in game week 3 or 4, I think. So yeah, he's getting some chances. His XG per 90 is not great, and he created 6 chances, but yeah, the fixtures for Leicester are pretty mixed. United, Arsenal, Chelsea, maybe a little tough, but Brentford, Leeds and Watford are just brilliant fixtures for Leicester. And yeah, in general, Leicester were really bad this season, but I'm pretty sure that at some point they have to improve, they have to score more goals, and I think that Lookman could be a good option because it seems like Brendan Rodgers really likes him. In the last game against Palace, he played with Vardy, Iheanacho, Barnes and Lookman, all four of them. So yeah, I think that he really likes him. Obviously, he is still a rotation risk from Leicester. We know that Iheanacho was just amazing last season. I think that he was the best player from Leicester in the second part of the season, and he's not playing this season. So yeah, it's pretty weird, to be honest with you. But Lookman, I think that even if he's gonna be a rotation rig, he could be a good option. So I think that he's one to watch in the future. The next player on my list is another cheap midfielder from Arsenal, Emil Smith-Rowe. As you can see, he's really cheap, 5.4 millions. I really like that price. I think that he could be ridiculous value if he's gonna perform at his level. His ownership is still low, 5.6%. So if you want him in your team, I think that he's gonna be a great differential. As you can see, he scored 1 goal and he got 1 assist, pretty decent. His XG plus XA per 90 is pretty low, I have to say, but take into consideration that Arsenal played against Chelsea and City in the first 3 games of the season, so that's why his underlying numbers are pretty bad. And obviously, it's not really bad. He got 9 goal attempts and he created 8 chances in 7 game weeks, which is pretty decent. But what I like about Arsenal is that the fixtures, as you can see, are pretty decent. Palace, Villa, Watford and Newcastle in the next 6 game weeks is really brilliant. And I really like having some Arsenal players, at least one, from Saka, Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, and from the defenders, Tomiyasu, Tierney, White and Ramsdale. I think that all of those are pretty good options if you're on your wildcard or if you want to have some Arsenal players. Obviously, everybody is gonna go for City defenders and Chelsea defenders, but if you're wildcarding, maybe you need that money. As I said before, if you need that money, you can buy Smith-Rowe, but if you don't have money limit, you need to go with Bukayo Saka, obviously, because I think that he's more nailed than Smith-Rowe. But yeah, it's your choice, obviously. So if you're wildcarding right now, obviously you will need to have some cheap midfielders. Okay, I don't say that Smith-Rowe is the best, but yeah, maybe MBEUMO is better than him, but he's also expensive, more expensive. So yeah, maybe you need that 0.1, who knows. So yeah, I think that Smith-Rowe is still gonna be a great value option for this season. Next up, we have a really cheap midfielder from Aston Villa, Douglas Luiz. As you can see, his price is 4.6 millions. I think that he just rise in price this week, to be honest with you. And yeah, his ownership is still pretty low, 3.6%, but I have to say that Douglas Luiz is for those who are wildcarding in Game Week 8, because obviously if you're not wildcarding in Game Week 8, you don't want to bring in Douglas Luiz for Wolverhampton at home, because obviously, yeah, he's a really good enabler. I think that he's maybe the best midfielder in the game at that price, 4.6 millions, but you don't want to play him every game week for sure. So yeah, the fixtures are pretty good for Villa. Wolverhampton, West Ham, Southampton, Brighton, Palace, even Arsenal could be a good fixture for them, who knows. So yeah, the next 6 game weeks, it's a really good run of fixtures for Aston Villa. As you can see, he created 12 chances, his points per match is pretty low, but it's pretty decent for such a cheap midfielder, 3.6, 3.5. So yeah, I really like him. So if you're using your wildcard, I think that he's the best option. Of course, you can go with Brownhill. He's 4.4 millions, I think. And yeah, if you really need that 0.2, I think that you can go with Brownhill, but I'm not sure that it's worth it, because Douglas Luiz offers much more than Brownhill, in my opinion at least. So yeah, that's what I like about him. He's really offensive for 4.6 million midfielder. So that's why I think that he could be a great enabler if you need him from your bench. The last player on my list is Daniel James from Leeds. Okay, I have to say that he's more like a differential, just like Ademola Lookman. He has the same price as him, 6 millions. So yeah, his ownership is really low, 0.5%. So I think that he could be a great differential if you really want to take a punt and if you're really brave. So yeah, as you can see, he scored 0 goals and 0 assists this season, but please take into consideration that he played just 4 games for Leeds. That's fine, it's just like Lookman from Leicester. So yeah, he played just 343 minutes for Leeds, which is pretty low. So that's why he doesn't have really good underlying stats. But still, he got 9 goal attempts, which is pretty decent for 4 game weeks. Is really good, and he created 3 chances. But what I like about him is that he's not that type of a midfielder who really creates many chances. He's more like an explosive player, like Ismail Assar, let's say, Lookman. So yeah, he's really getting some chances to score goals. So yeah, that's why that's what I'm looking for in a midfielder, to be honest with you. So yeah, he's on my list just because, as you can see, the fixtures from for Leeds are really good. As I said before, Southampton, Wolverhampton, Norwich, even Leicester, Spurs, and Brighton are could be pretty good fixtures for James. Obviously, the main issue with him is that the rotation is a big issue for him, because obviously we are not sure if he's gonna start every gaming, but still, I think that he just played for Wales. I think that he scored for the national team. So yeah, he's in really good shape, and I think that Leeds bought him for a reason from Manchester United. So I'm not I don't think that he's gonna stay on the bench all the season. So I think that they will wanna use him. Obviously, right now Patrick Bamford is out injured. We don't know for sure for how many time he's gonna be injured, and that's obviously really good news for Daniel James, because I think that he's gonna start some games in the next 3-4 gamings maybe. So yeah, I really like him, and obviously I'm not saying that he's the best cheap midfielder in the game, because obviously he's not. There are much better options than him, but yeah, if you're really brave and if you really want a differential and a good punt for the next 3 gamings, I think that he could be a great option for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to this channel if you're new around here. It would be really helpful for me, and also please let me know about your opinions in the comments down below. See you next time.